Hello everyone and welcome to our educational presentation. The topic of this presentation today is getting value out of generative AI. The topic touches on AI and technology, but it also intersects with business and commercial use. So we're going to look at what is the business model for generative AI, given what we know today about the technology and the market it is in. OpenAI has built one of the fastest growing businesses in history. It may also be one of the costliest one to run. ChatGPT maker could lose as much as $5 billion a year, according to analysis and based on previous undisclosed internal financial data and people involved in the business. If we are right, OpenAI most certainly valued at $60 billion will need to raise some more cash in the next 12 months or after this. So we can spend sometimes talking about the technical and resource limitations of generative AI, and it is very interesting to watch these challenges becoming clearer and more urgent for the industry that has sprung up around this technology. The question that we think this brings up, however, is what the business model really is for generative AI. What should be we expecting, and what is just hype which we have to discard? What is the difference between the promise of this technology and the practical reality? Like the question comes, is generative AI a feature or a product? We can have conversation with people and hear it discussed quite a bit in the media. The difference between a technology being a feature and being a product is essentially whether it holds enough value in isolation and by itself that people would purchase access to it alone, or if it is actually demonstrates most or all of its value when combined with other technologies. We're seeing AI tagged on lots of existing products right now, from text code editors to search to browsers. And these applications are examples of generative AI as a feature, which is added and combined to something other than AI itself. On the other hand, we have products by OpenAI and assorted other businesses trying to sell products where generative AI is the central component, such as ChatGPT or Claude. This can start to get a little blurry, but the key factor we think about is that for the generative AI as product crowd, if generative AI doesn't live up to the expectations of the customer, whatever those may be, then they're going to discontinue using of the product and stop paying the provider. On the other hand, if someone finds, understandably, that Google AI search summarizes and summaries are junk, then they can complain and turn them off and continue using classic Google search as before. The core business value proposition is not built on the foundation of AI. It's just an additional potential selling point and like additional new and potentially unknown or little used up to now feature. This results in much less risk for the overall business. The way that Apple has approached much of the generative AI space is a good example of conceptualizing generative AI as feature, not a product. And to us, their apparent strategy has more promise. At the last Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple revealed that they're engaging with OpenAI to let Apple users access ChatGPT through Siri. There are a few key components to this that are important. First, Apple is not paying anything to OpenAI to create this relationship. Apple is bringing access to its highly economically attractive users to the table, and OpenAI has the chance to turn these users into paying subscribers to ChatGPT if they can. Apple takes on no risk in the relationship. Second, this doesn't preclude Apple from making other generative AI offerings such as Anthropic or Google's available to their user base in the same way as they did with OpenAI. They aren't explicitly betting on a particular horse in the larger generative AI arms race, even though OpenAI happens to be the first partnership to be announced. Apple is, of course, working on the Apple AI, their own generative AI solution, but they're clearly targeting these offerings to augment their existing and future product lines, making your iPhone more useful rather than selling a model as a standalone product. All this is to say that there are multiple ways of thinking about how generative AI can and should be worked into a business strategy. And building the technology itself is not guaranteed to be the most successful. When we look back in a decade, we can doubt that the companies we will think as of the big winners in generative AI business space today will be the ones that actually develop the underlying technology. What business strategy makes sense for development? We may think but someone got to build it if the features are valuable enough to be worth having, right? If the money isn't in the actual creation of generative AI capability, are we going to have this capability included or not, or at all? Is it going to reach its full potential as well? We should acknowledge that costs of that lots of investors in the tech space do believe that there is plenty of money to be made in generative AI, which is why they sunk many billion into OpenAI and its peers already. However, we have also viewed articles about how even with these billions at hand, we suspect pretty strongly that we're going to see only mild incremental improvements to the performance of generative AI in the future, instead of continuing the seemingly exponential technological advancement that we saw in 2022 and 2023. In particular, the limitations on the amount of human-generated data available for training to achieve promised progress can just be solved by throwing money at the problem. This means that we are not convinced that generative AI is going to get a whole lot more useful or a whole lot smarter than it is right now. With all that said, and whether we agree or not, we should remember that having a highly advanced technology is very different from being able to create a product from that technology that people will purchase, pay money for, and that this technology we can make it a sustainable, renewable business model out of it. We can invent a cool new thing, but as any product team at any startup or tech company will tell us that is not the end of the process of figuring out how real people can and will use our cool new thing or gadget, and communicating that and making people believe that our cool new thing is worth a sustainable price is extremely difficult. We're definitely seeing lots of proposed ideas for this coming out of many channels, but some of these ideas are falling actually already pretty flat. OpenAI new beta of a search engine introduced recently already had major errors in its outputs. Anyone who read some articles about how LLMs work will not be surprised. I was surprised that they didn't think about this obvious problem when developing the product in the first place. Even though these ideas are somehow appealing, they cannot be just nice to have or luxuries. They need to be essential, because the price that is required to make this business sustainable is already very high. When the burn rate of business is $5 billion a year, in order to become profitable and self-sustaining, the paying users of this business and user base must be astronomical, and or the price those users pay must be eye-watering. Like if we're looking at just research, isn't research still inherently being valuable? This leaves people who are most interested in pushing the technological boundaries in a difficult spot. Research for research sakes has always existed in some form, even when the results aren't immediately practically useful. But capitalism doesn't really have a good channel for this kind of work to be sustained, especially not when this research costs mind-boggling high amounts to participate in. The United States has been draining academic institutions dry of resources for decades, so scholars and researchers in academia have little or no chance to even participate in this kind of research without private investment. Um, this could be a real shame because academia is the place where this kind of research could be done with appropriate oversight. Ethical, security, and safety concerns can be taken seriously and explored in an academic setting in a way that simply aren't prioritized in the private sector. The culture and norms around research for academics are able to value money below knowledge, but when private sector businesses are running all the research, those choices change. The people who our society trusts to do peer research don't have access to the resources required to significantly participate in the generative AI boom. And this leads us to the question, now what? Of course, there is a significant chance that even though these private companies don't have the resources to sustain the mad dash to training more and bigger models, which brings us back around to the quote we started this presentation with. Because of the business model that is governing our technological progress, we may miss out on potential opportunities. Applications of generative AI that make sense but don't make the kind of billions necessary to sustain the GPU bills may never get deeply explored, while socially harmful, silly or useless applications get investment because they pose greater opportunities for cash grab. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation, and I'm coming back to this presentation, coming to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov. I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. I would like to tell you about two projects that we released and that we are working on. The first project is a marketplace and collection of NFTs based on three-dimensional objects. With three-dimensional objects, there has to be specific software which loads the file of the 3D object and then it displays it in a computer screen. Usually people who create 3D objects, they use game engines, and there are two very popular choices of game engines used by 3D objects developers. The first game engine is called Unity and the second one is called Unreal. But we decided at the very beginning of the 3D NFT project to design our own 3D software engine. And what it does is it reads the file of the 3D object, then it opens a window on a computer screen. It loads the 3D object in this window and it starts animating this 3D object in a way of moving it in a random fashion around the window. But in addition to these basic capabilities of reading, opening a window, and loading and animating of the 3D object, our 3D software engine has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability is the capability of speaking. Our 3D NFTs can speak in one of 3 different voices. The 3D NFTs can speak either in a male voice or in a female voice or in a whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the 3 basic voices, there are 3 different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken either in a normal speed or in a fast speed or in a slow speed manner. So if we take a male voice and it is spoken in a slow speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a very masculine person or the voice of an old person. If on the other hand we take a female voice and it is spoken in a fast speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a little girl or the voice of a funny person. The next additional and important capability of our 3D software engine is the capability of voice recognition. If, for example, we have a 3D NFT in a window and it is moving in a random way in this window, then we can issue our very first command to the 3D NFT to stop moving. And then the 3D NFT is going to stand still and stop moving. We can issue following voice commands to the 3D NFT to move left, move right, move up, move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And then the 3D NFT is going to fulfill each one of these separate voice commands and move left, then move right, move up, then move down, come closer, zoom in, go further away, zoom out, and start rotating. The next additionally important capability is the capability of the 3D NFTs having a basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. The 3D NFTs can, you can ask the 3D NFT what is your name, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply with their name. You can ask the 3D NFT who are you, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply in few sentences of who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something. For example, describe Web3 or describe decentralization or describe Russia. And then the 3D NFT is going to describe in few sentences about Web3 or about decentralization or about the country called Russia. The last but not least important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them being displayed in a way of stereoscopics. So what stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or bluish colors. You can come to the our 3D NFT marketplace, and probably this is the time to tell you the name and the URL of our 3D NFT marketplace. It is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3D NFT is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters NFT, and it is all together 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are 2 words, decentralized and web, and they're typed all together. Decentralized web. Then there's dot and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. On the top of the main screen and all of the other pages, you can see a number of links, and one of these links points to accessories. When you click on this link to accessories, you're going to see that we offer special glasses. You can order one pair of these glasses, and when you receive these glasses, you're going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of these glasses is blue. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request displaying of the 3D NFT in a way of stereoscopics, and then you're going to see the 3D NFT as coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I'm ending talking about our 3D software engine, and I like to tell you a little bit about our 3D NFT marketplace. What is interesting and special about it is that we have our own blockchain instance, and this blockchain instance runs Ethereum software. This is the same software which runs on Ethereum mainnet or on Binance Smart Chain or on Polygon Matic chain or on Avalanche AVAX or on many other blockchains currently popular and in existence. By having our own blockchain instance, then we do not require our users to pay gas fees for the deployments of the smart contracts for the non-fungible tokens, and we do not charge gas fees for transactions of transfer of ownership from one user to another user. By having our own blockchain instance, then we can detach buying and selling of the 3D NFTs from a single crypto coin, and we offer in our marketplace 4 different crypto coins which users can use to purchase and then receive proceedings from sale of the 3D NFTs. Currently, the 4 different choices include Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Avalanche AVAX, and KuCoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. They have a coin called KCS. In addition to buying and selling in crypto, we have a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of our 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. Let's say you are a user, you come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you click on the composite image of our first collection, then you are going to see all of the objects in our first collection of 3D NFTs. You click on one you like, and then you are going to see a short video of the 3D NFT as it is moving. Then you can see a drop-down menu, and in this drop-down menu, there are the 4 different choices of paying with crypto, and the 5th choice of paying with fiat currency. So let's say you select paying with fiat currency, you click on the button to advance next, then you are going to be presented with a screen where you can put the number of your debit or credit card, and when you complete the transaction, what is going to happen is there is going to be a conversion of your national fiat currency to US dollars, and the payment for the purchase is going to be deposited in our bank account in US dollars. Then we're going to follow this action with the second action and the transfer of ownership from our marketplace to you, and now you become the user of this 3D NFT. Then you can play with this 3D NFT for a while, and at some point you can decide to put this 3D NFT for sale. So what is going to happen then is there are going to be other users, and let's say there's a second user who comes to our 3D NFT marketplace. They browse through the 3D objects which are available for sale, and so let's say they click on and they like the specific 3D NFT that you currently own and put for sale. So the second user, let's say they go through the same choice of between paying with crypto or paying with fiat currency. So let's say they select paying with fiat currency. Then what is going to happen is there's going to be a conversion from the national fiat currency of the second user, which could be different than your national fiat currency and different than US dollars. And the payment of the second user is going to be converted to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. We are going to follow this action with the second action and transfer of ownership from you to the second user, and now the second user becomes current owner of the 3D NFT. Then we're going to follow this with a third action and conversion from US dollars to your national fiat currency, and we're going to make a deposit in your national fiat currency in your bank account for the amount of payment for the sale of the 3D NFT. With this said, I am ending talking about this first project that we did release, and I'd like to tell you about a second project which is under development. And in this second project, it is about making products which help with turning power on and off remotely, and also is related to charging of electric vehicles. So if you look at the number of electric vehicles, it is growing steadily, and at some point the number of electric vehicles, they're going to exceed the number of internal combustion engines. And like currently, internal combustion engines, they go to ordinary gas stations where they stop for a short time. They connect a hose like a pump to the opening of their gas tank in their car. They load gas in their car, they pay, and then they leave. Currently, for electric vehicles, there are specific locations modeled on the way gas stations work, and there are a number of columns with cables which users can connect to their electric vehicles. They can stay for a period of time at these locations while their car is charging. They can pay and they can leave. But we estimate that the number of these spots for charging of electric vehicles is going to ultimately become insufficient for the growing number of electric vehicles. So what we're proposing is the parking lot model, where the users can, they come to a parking lot, and this parking lot could be the parking lot of the apartment building they're living, and they can, at their parking lot, they can have specific number of chargers. They could connect a charging cable to their vehicle and then leave it for the evening and the night, and disconnect it in the morning. In addition to the parking lots at the point of living, many electric vehicle owners are working into high-rise buildings, like high-rise office buildings, where they come at 9 o'clock in the morning usually, and they leave around 5 o'clock in the afternoon usually. They can come a little earlier or later, and they can leave a little earlier or later, but most of the time during the day their car is at the parking lot of this apartment building. So in the same way as the residential apartment buildings, these office buildings can be outfitted with chargers and cables, and people can connect these cables to their electric vehicles, charge their vehicles, and then they can leave at the end of the work day. So what we have developed, and we're also continuously developing, is a product which is remotely controlled. It's internet connected. It has near field communication reader, which can read the debit or credit card of the user, or it can read a near field communication card at the size of a credit card, or a token which could be put in a keychain, or even a ring which could be worn in a finger. And with this ring, token, or card, or debit or credit card, the user can identify themselves to the electric switch. The electric switch can turn the power on, and the users can then start charging their vehicles. And because they identify themselves, they are going to be billed in the end of the charging for the amount of the energy which was loaded in their vehicle. With this said, I'd like to invite you to come to the website of our project, and probably this is the point to tell you the name and the URL. It is power.rstack.com. Power is the ordinary word for power. Then there is dot. Then there is rstack, which I can spell it letter by letter. It's Alpha, Robert, Sam, Tom, Echo, Charlie, Hotel, rstack.com. You can see the number of articles that we posted. We did also release 3 different surveys. One of the surveys is on the hardware, the other one is on the software, and the third one is on the features. And in this survey, you can let us know which, like, what is your preference? Are you looking for some new and specific products? And also, you can identify yourself as part of an organization or for example, a retail business which can like sell this type of chargers which we are planning to produce. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, and goodbye.